G'day everyone and welcome to another episode of Blue Abroad Analytics Corner. I'm Dan and today we're focusing on the Western Bulldogs Football Club. So without any further ado, let's get into it. So 2019 was a season that surprised many. They displayed a real firebrand style of football and really launched themselves into the eight big time. At the start of the year, many pundits were saying that they were too inexperienced to challenge, but a stellar back half of the year saw them really rise up the ladder with some impressive wins versus Geelong and GWS, who themselves at the time were firing. Norton, Bailey Smith, Riley West and Lipinski, English and Richards alike really came of age and really impressed. But for me, the best of the bunch was Josh Dunkley, who was really a fearsome sight in the middle with already mercurial ball getters in Macrae and Bont and Dunkley, who just really are ball magnets themselves. He was also quite sleuthy in front of goal, which added a new dimension for the Doggies. 2020 looks like an exciting prospect for them ahead, and they should be in the hunt again, I reckon, this year. One thing for sure, though, is no one will underestimate them this year. So let's have a look at the trade and draft period. And obviously, first up, they got Josh Bruce. He arrived from really next to nothing from St Kilda, and the target forward amassed an amazing 168 goals from 99 starts for the Saints, and really adds to the forward line that really had more shots on goal last year than anyone else, but only finished 5th in the goal tallies. The inaccuracy may have cost them wins, and it did really affect them against Gold Coast in round 3 and Collingwood. But Josh, no getting away from it, is a real talent. Strong in the air, good on the ground at ground level, and has a really good set shot. He gives them an added target at the end of the ground that they kind of struggled to capitalise on last year, and this is a statement of intent and real push for the Premiership. He complements the forward line well, and with the service he's got on offer in the midfield, real good pickup. Next to arrive was intercept beast Alex Keefe. Now Keefe is super strong in the air and a very talented reader of the game. This comp does show that intercept marks and score launches win you football matches, and he'll slot into the back line with ease and really pump them numbers for him. I find him a really underrated defender who costs next to nothing at all, and their backline now possesses real threats down back to really push up the ladder and really compete in final series. For me, Alex Keefe is one of the best backmen in the comp on his day. Has all the skills, very athletic, very agile, good leap, good reader in the air, high footy IQ, real exciting acquisition for the Doggies. In the draft, if you remember watching the draft show we did, Cody Waitman was a big favourite of mine to come to Carlton. The small forward from Dandenong is every sense of the word X Factor. Sells candy for days, a real firecracker in the forward line, great vertical leap, takes speckies for fun, has fantastic forward pressure as well, and he knows where the goals are more importantly. Real high engine and a complete live wire in that forward line. In a league where locking it in your 50 wins your matches, he's an important tool to have in the arsenal. You'll see some game time this year, and watch out, he's got star written all over him. Next up was Louis Butler. He's a Sandy Dragons player, and he's one of the premier rebounders in the youth comp. Combines that with intensity, and he's got an absolute rocket-like kick on him. Meters gained is another key stat in the modern day game, and this kid possesses traits that really do suggest it's a gem find for them. Halfbacks in the AFL regularly average above 25 touches, and he's a real accumulator of the ball too, and he's got that string to his bow. He has talent that suggests that if you redo the draft, he'll probably be a lot higher than where they took him at the moment. Real bull and attacks the ball hard, very courageous, head over the footy type player. Question marks over his ability though to make the right decisions at the right time under pressure. But when the list boasts players like Daniels, Johannesson and Wood, he's got some good exponents of the craft. Watch him in the VFL, and I expect he'll see some game time towards the end of the year. Final pickup was Riley Garcia. He's a tough footballer from WA, and he'll slot into the ethos of the Doggies quite well. He's a real accumulator, real ball magnet type player. Great in congestion, got a real good tackle technique. Raw skills really do suggest that he'll be a steady AFL footballer at the worst. Has had his history of injuries though, so it needs to be managed, but has a very high footy IQ, and there's no need to rush him when you've got the tools in the middle that the Doggies have. I'll follow him closely in VFL. I mean, this kid could really be anything. So let's look at the 22 that I went with for the start of the year. And as you can see there, the back line for me, super strong. Super strong. When you've got players of this ilk, you're always in the game. And attack starts from defence. Wood, Keith, Crozier, Johannesson, Cordy and Daniel. They're very solid. You've got intercept mark. You've got height. You've got strength. You've got speed. You've got rebounding ability. You've got everything really that is needed in the AFL to compete. And when they're feeding players like Hunter, Bontempelli, Richards, Dunkley and Macrae in that middle, it's got it there. I mean, Caleb Daniel has game-breaking speed. Johannesson does. Both good users. Wood is a very good defender. Cordy showed a lot last year. Keith, we know how highly I rate him. Crozier is very good, playing as that loose role in defence. When you go up to the midfield, Hunter's one of the most consistent performers in the AFL. Bontempelli's been phenomenal in the Marsh series, and he always is. Macrae, you run out of superlatives for this type of guy. Dunkley, I expect to really move on again from next year. And Richards really gives them some options on the outside. There's a lot of pace there as well. English is an interesting prospect for me as well. I really am a big fan of Tim English, and I really expect him to go on again. He looks really, really good. He looks like he's bulked up a bit, highly athletic, good ruck craft, real exciting midfield coach, one of the best in the league. In the forward line, we've gone Smith, Bruce, Lloyd, Dale, Norton and Shaq, Key. And for me, Smith, he looks a real bull at half forward. Real forward pressure, good user, real exciting prospect. I think Bruce and Norton are very good targets for them. Lloyd and Dale, we know how good they are. And Shaki, he started to show a bit of form and live up to the billing that he came across from Brisbane with. Really exciting young forward line with a mix of experience. On paper, it's a tough matchup for any side. Lipinski, Suckling, Wallace and McLean make up the subs for the game. And for me, I mean, that 22, you've got a lot of options on that pine. Wallace is a solid player. Suckling is. Lipinski showed signs last year as well. He's really coming of age. And McLean is as steady as they come. It's a really solid 22 for me, and it's one that, you know, will cause a lot of teams problems. So let's look what 2020 holds in store for them. I think it's really promising. They've filled two massive holes at both ends of the ground for them with Keith and Bruce. They have one of the most potent midfields in the competition. When you have Macrae, Bontempelli and Dunkley averaging well over 25, it really, really sets you up. Midfield set you up in this comp. And if you look at the key indicators for success, they're in top 10 for just about every category. They are a huge chance. Their one weakness last year was their efficiency inside 50 and capitalising on it. And I think they've added another target now, which will free up Norton and Shaki. And they'll be a real force. Champs Data currently has them as the second strongest this year. TPI had them 5th in the regular season. I think they're destined for the top 4. When it's finals footy, with a side that dominates congestion but can also play equally well on the outside, anything can happen. These guys can win ugly, can win beautiful. A real threat in the competition this year. So he wants to watch this year, Tim English, without a doubt. Last year he really announced his arrival on the scene, averaging 19 hit-outs and 13 disposals. I think the sky is the limit for English. Fantastic ruck craft. He's highly athletic and mobile. He's purely the modern day ruckman in every sense of the word. He started to show that he can win his own ball at ground level as well. He's strong in the ground. That is a big improvement I saw of him in the year. And for me, I can see him getting around the 18 touch mark, 25 hit-outs a year, your Grundys, your Gorns type player. And I reckon he's destined to really break into the top 3 ruckmen this year. His Marsh form has been impeccable, and I think this kid in the next few years will break the Grundy stronghold. For me, he's in my Supercoach team. I've dropped Gorn. Real exciting prospect. Look out for him to have a big year. So how do you beat them? The Doggies build their game on winning the centre clearances, winning the congested back battles, and you have to eliminate many personnel in the corridor to have a success. If you stop Macrae, you have to stop Bont. If you stop Bont, you've got to stop Dunkley, so on and so forth. Their ability to transition from the backline is second to none. When you've got Johannesson and Caleb Daniel, hard runners who line break, who use it well, it's a real tough prospect, but it can be done. You have to go hard at the ball, and you have to really know you're going to have to soak up their pressure and counter punch back. You hit them quickly through the corridor. They do take a while to reset. It's a high risk, high reward strategy with them. But if you stay true to your guns, you can do it. They suffer from inaccuracy and were leaky at the back. And traditionally sides have had leads and just held on to it by playing the territory game. It's a very set, orientated game. You'd have to play to beat them. Territory is your friend in this game as well. Tough matchup. Tell you what, it's a tough proposition. Well, that concludes the Doggies. As always, thank you very much for watching. Wish the Dogs the best of luck this year. Hope you go fantastic. Love watching you guys play, except against the Navy Blues. Be sure to like and subscribe our channel for more content. And as always, stay Navy Blue, folks.